I'm presuming that you either approve desperately of what Joe Biden and what Boris Johnson and others had to say yesterday, or you think they're not going far enough. Would I be right?
A little bit of both, Julia, I think is the answer to that. And yes, I do approve. I think it's worth, we've got to keep in mind, what's the point of all this? These pledges, if they are met, will save billions of lives. And I think that's a really important thing to start this interview with, because, this isn't, we're not just making this stuff up. And
they will they will save billions of lives. How?
Well, we know that unless we collectively, across the whole world, massively reduce our carbon emissions and shift away from fossil fuels as fast as possible, that temperatures will rise by, at the moment we're on course for a 3-degree rise.
No, we're not. No, we're not. That's at the most extreme possible end of the predictions from the
It's not the most
IPCC.
extreme possible end. That's quite wrong, Julia. The world scientists are telling us that we are on a trajectory with the pledges that we have for 3 degrees of temperature rise, and that will make
by when, Leo?
Well, by the end of the century.
By the end of the century, okay.
Julia, this is not in dispute. I know that
it is in dispute, Leo. Leo, it is in dispute.
In your mind, it's in dispute, and I know in some circles that you move in, people don't.
Sorry, did you? I'm so sorry, Leo. Now, people who are listening won't have seen that. You just on video just twiggled your fingers next to your ears as if I was mad. Now, I'm sorry.
I'm just referring to what's going on inside your head, Julia, because this isn't. Your views on this subject are very, very niche now. That's the point that I'm
very
making.
Niche. Okay, I think you'll find they're probably shared by a vast majority of people on the planet who know anything about this. Right, let's just go back. How are we saving billions of lives by cutting carbon emissions? You said billions, not millions. Billions.
No, billions.
Yeah, how?
Billions.
That's why I asked you.
People are so listen, if we do nothing, which I think is your preferred option,
no,
and we just carry on business as usual. Is that not right?
No.
That is what you want.
No, that's not right. But carry on. If we do nothing.
If we do nothing, we are on course for actually a much larger increase in temperature than 3 degrees. And that will make whole swathes, many nations completely uninhabitable. Bangladesh, just underwater. Many, many millions of people live in Bangladesh. Why
would it kill people? Why would billions of people die?
Because they can't live it. Literally, Bangladesh will be underwater.
Okay, so sorry. Is it your Leo? Is it your impression? And this is the thing I find bizarre that okay, let's take everything you're saying as absolute gospel truth, and it isn't. These are predictions. These are computer models. They've already been proven wrong in lots of different ways. But that's another conversation we can have on another day. Let's say everything you're saying is 100% true, and you can smile about it as much as you want. But every single climate prediction so far has not come true. So I'm willing to. That's a hill I'm happy to die on. Are you saying that as the waters rise, all the people of Bangladesh, just say for instance, all the Maldives or any other low-lying land, are just going to stand there and just wait until the water goes above their head? Or do you think that human beings will do what they've done for millennia, which is adapt and move and change? Why would billions of people die? I just want to get to that, because climate activists make a lot of big announcements like this. Why would billions of people die if the temperature did increase by 3 degrees by the end of the century?
Last year, we had temperatures of over 50 degrees, surface temperatures, wet bulb temperatures of over 50 degrees in Rajasthan.
That's not an answer to my question.
Yes, it is the answer to your question. Just let me finish. The farmers were dropping dead in the fields in India.
The farmers were
because literally temperatures were too high for the human body to cope with. And that is predicted for large swathes of the globe.
Large swathes of the globe are going to be at 50 degrees Celsius temperatures, and billions of people are going to die.
But you will have peak temperatures that will kill people. Kill people.
Be a good thing if people had air conditioning then, wouldn't it? Using electricity and having access to things like that, which we know are life-saving.
I think the question that you asked in the preamble to this, Julia, was about who's going to pay
exactly.
This. I think let's go back to Boris Johnson.
Let's go back to it. Yeah.
Let's go back to Boris Johnson's, slightly bonkers, characteristically bonkers. Have cake, eat bunny, something. He said, he sort of mumbled some words. What he was getting at the summit was that our own statutory advisors on climate change in the UK, the Independent Committee on Climate Change, they've gained the numbers out on this. And actually, this saves us money. So to the point where we get to meeting the target in 2050, this saves us money. And look, for those who need an economics 101 primer, this is because most of the technologies and the things that we need to do are what's known as high capex, low opex. So you need to spend a lot of money at the start to save a lot of money across the longer term. Okay. So if you think about something like solar or wind, you build a wind turbine and you've bought 20 years of electricity in advance, and that electricity is now already cheaper than electricity from fossil fuels.
It is also still subsidised. Okay, Independent Committee on Climate Change has, they say it will save us money. Philip Hammond, former Chancellor of the Exchequer under Theresa May, he was very clear. He carried out Treasury analysis of what the cost of reaching the target of 2050, let alone 2035, would be, and he costed it at more than £1 trillion. That's thought by some to be a pretty low estimate. Even if you're saying, okay, in the long term, and I absolutely think we're going to move to cleaner. I want us to, and I think we will move to innovative, cleaner fuels and cleaner energy and cutting pollution. And this will happen not just in the West; it will happen in the industrialising rather than industrialised world as well. And that's all a good thing, absolutely. But the question is, who pays for it to be moved at a pace that is beyond what the market would normally deliver? And when we look about £1 trillion plus extra, who are we saying is going to pay for it? Because it's either people being told your energy bills have to go up, your flight costs have to go up, buying a car goes up because it's electric cars, we're going to have to subsidise this fuel, subsidise that. They actually have to do that. Or it's going to be taxes paying for everything, and those come from ordinary people's pockets. How on earth are we going to do this without it costing ordinary people living ordinary lives on ordinary incomes a huge extra cost?
Well, so first of all, in the corporate sector, many of the businesses that are growing fastest and returning the highest returns to shareholders at the moment are green economy businesses.
Oh, there's loads of money in this business.
They are investing in this stuff because they will make money from it, not for any other reason. So that's worth thinking about. But also, you missed out one, which is borrowing. And as a source of finance for climate change mitigation, nothing makes more sense than borrowing, because what we are doing effectively today with business as usual is borrowing from our children's futures, because we're spending a scarce resource, which is emissions and pollution. We're trashing the place and we're going to leave our kids to clear it up. So there's a very, very clear logic that actually borrowing today and borrowing money today is almost free.
But it does have to. As an investment, I understand, but it does cost money to pay back eventually.
It does, but this is the point, is that over the long term, you save money. So if you think about something like an electric vehicle, an electric car, it costs more to buy up front and it's much, much cheaper to run. So over the life
until the battery goes and you have to spend £7,000 on a new battery.
I mean, this is just this is just not in dispute, Julia. Electric vehicles are cheaper across their lifespan. That wasn't true a few years ago. It's true today.
They're cheaper across their lifespan while they're subsidised by the taxpayer, which is what they are currently.
I mean, the upfront cost is subsidised by a few £1,000s, but
to you, a few £1,000s. To most people, that is whether they can afford it or not.
I mean, listen, I'm not a huge fan of electric vehicles, but I think they're a very good illustration of the point that I'm trying to make.
Wait a minute, you're not a fan of electric vehicles. How do you want people to get around? Are we all on bicycles in your world?
Yes, in cities we should be walking, cycling, and taking public transport in cities. Yes, we shouldn't be filling our cities up with private cars. It's a massive waste of space. A private car in the UK sits stationary 95% of the time.
Mine does, probably more than that at the time. But I still reserve the right to own a car.
Yes, but you shouldn't be storing it in the public realm, Julia. If you want to keep it in your private garage,
I don't have a garage. I don't have a driveway. Where else do you want me to put it? I pay the local council to be able to park it outside my home. What the hell has that got to do with you, Leo?
Well, much of London. What has it got to do with me? There are so many.
What's it got to do with you? What I do with my car? None of your darn business.
It is very bad for cities. It's a very inefficient way to move people around. Yes.
Well, I get the tube home every day, but not everyone lives in a city. 80% of people in this country can only get to work via using their car because they don't have direct bus lines or tube lines, and they don't live cyclable distance, and they've got to take two children to two different schools.
I don't know where that 8% figure is from, but it's wrong. And I'm talking about So
Sorry,
I wasn't
Leo, I can assure you that is official figures. 80% of people in this country go to work by car.
Julia,
Just not people you know living in Islington.
Julia, only 76% of households have access to a car in the UK. So that's the actual statistic, right?
Yeah.
So a quarter of
80% of people, not households. Yeah. Yeah.
Point is, if you want to talk about cars in cities, it's a very poor way to move people around. And every city that has taken measures to get rid of private cars from its city centre is a nicer place to live. It's a better place to live and work. And people who live there don't want to go back to having a car dominated.
You say that, but no major city has removed cars from their. I mean, they just haven't. Right, Leo, we're going to have to leave it here. We're out of time. I could do this with you all day. You are definitely. You are definitely coming back on my show very soon because I want to talk about this at much greater length with you. Leo Murray, it's been an absolute pleasure. We didn't even get onto whether or not we had to be vegan or not, but I probably do. I don't know, give up my car, give up vegan, give up flying, give up having a life. Leo Murray, co-director of the climate change charity Possible. Thank you very much, Dean.